Hey everybody, welcome to CASA episode 9. I can't believe that this is the 9th episode. That means we've been at this, we skipped a week. So we've been at this for 10 weeks. That means you've been probably at home for 10 weeks. By the way, that's why we call the show CASA, because when this all began, we just wanted to create something that would bring light and life and love to people at home as we all weather this pandemic together. Prayers for everyone who's not feeling well, who's in the hospital. Prayers for people who are sick. Gratitude and prayers for the doctors and nurses that take care of them. And prayers and gratitude also for the people who keep everything running. So all the essential workers, we're thankful for you guys. And then for you at home, maybe you're a little bit stir crazy. We pray that God's peace, God's patience meet you where you are. And hopefully stuff like this can help. So today we have a treat for you all. I met my friend about 8 years ago in Cleveland, Ohio. We were working on a project and I saw he was a young dude, maybe 21, 22 years old. I saw this young dude sing like no one else because it came from a real place. And then I started to see more and more of him. I realized he's an incredible musician, singer, songwriter. And then as time would have it, years go on, I began to see him share the platform with people, share stages with people that I knew and listened to. People like Ty Tribbett, JJ Hairston, Jonathan Nelson, Jason Nelson, Travis Green, and so many more. I began to realize that he's special. There's something on his life. God made him in a unique way to really serve the kingdom in a special way, and he's going to talk about that. So, without further ado, this individual, born in Cleveland, Ohio, raised in Ohio. By the age of 10, he was playing keyboards. He was playing piano for his grandpa's church. When he was 12 years old, he started to he pursued a music education. He went to the Cleveland School of the Arts, majored in vocal performance. He studied at the Interlochen Center of the Arts Academy, Broadway School of Music, Hubbard School of Music. He was previously a minister of music at the Word Church with senior founding pastor Dr. R.A. Vernon. That's where I met him. And he was mentored by my good friend, the Reverend Pastor Mark T. Jackson, soon to be Dr. Mark T. Jackson. And so after that, he would travel down to Dallas, Texas, where he would travel the world and minister to all different kinds of churches globally. And then he moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where he now lives, and he acts as the musical director at All Nations Worship Assemblies in ATL. Folks, I'm so happy and so stoked to introduce to you all my good friend, Timothy Reddick. First of all, TJ, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being on CASA. I just want to start with just a real simple question, and that is, how are you?
I am amazing. The best I've been in a very long time. Busy, very, very, very busy. I feel like I'm more busier during the pandemic than I was before Corona hit us. But yeah, like I'm great. I'm enjoying this season of my life here in Atlanta. I never saw myself living here. I never wanted to live here. But my church is here, my tribe is here, and it's been super dope. The whole thing, the entire thing, being the director of worship. I have an amazing team, band and singers. They have amazing hearts, my pastors, my brothers, my fam here. It's been really dope. It's a great season because of all of that. And also, I'm actually being stretched. This is my first time being director of worship. I've always been like a number 2. So I've always been just the musician or just the worship leader. But being this involved in a leadership role and being this involved in the progress of a church, it's been really, really dope. It's been stretching me, pushing me to be more consistent and just kind of like push past my natural go-tos, which is to just kind of chill. And, just kind of push past that number 2 life. So yeah, like It's been really dope so far.
And one of the things that I read about you in your bio is that that you were raised in church, that it wasn't just something that you discovered later on in life, that pretty much, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but from day one, I mean, church was home and home was church. Am I wrong about that? And also, how did that form you? What effect did the church have upon your life?
My grandmother actually made sure that our family stayed in church. So yes, I've been in church even before, the whole 10 years old thing with my granddad pastor. We were very involved in the church that me and my mom were in before then. But growing up in church has definitely shaped. It's shaped how I live. So just, rightfully so, it shaped how I express music. But later on in life, just kind of like really being serious about committing myself to the Lord, I also committed my gifts to Him. So that actually played the major part in shaping how I express my passion for music, because there's a destiny tied to it. I learned growing, as I grew older and got closer to the Lord, I realized that there was a call and a destiny attached to my passion for music, or my gift and my knack for music. So that definitely shaped what I produce, how I produce it. Even I enjoy great music. I enjoy world music. I enjoy weird music. Like, people will never know that I listen to music from Senegal. It's called Senegalese. It's called Mbalax. And it's just really rhythmic. I listen to classical music. I listen to old school soul and R&B, like Earth, Wind and Fire, Anita Baker. I'm not really too, I don't really know too much about today's R&B and hip hop and all of that, but short story. I went to a concert, I won't say who, and he's a amazing singer, R&B singer. And I just went with some friends that I've never been to anything like it. So I just decided to try it. And it was great music. It was a great time. But I just got I couldn't take anymore. I had to walk out. Just my ears just couldn't take that sound anymore. And I I prayed. I'm like, what was it? It was okay. The atmosphere wasn't crazy. And what I realized is I'm just so used to being, when I'm under music, I'm so used to the music taking me somewhere. So church has definitely shaped what I take in and what I put out. It's all for His glory.
First time I met you, I realized really quickly. And I think the first time I met you, I was trying to go back, TJ, and recall, was probably around 2012 during a live recording. I think that was day one. And I remember we recorded this song. And for a long time, the people who were kind of in charge of the media for that live recording, we just kind of held on to it. We knew that it was going to be mixed and maybe release something later on. And I really had no official direction to do this, but I just, one day I was on vacation. I'll never forget this. I was we were in Florida, just hanging out in the hotel room. And I was kind of bored. And there was something that I knew I needed to do. And I had my laptop and my headphones, and that's it. And I'm like, if there's anything that comes out of these, files that I have, we have to make this music video. And the music video that I made was this young dude. I think he was probably at the time, maybe 22 years old. I don't know, somewhere around there. And I was like, I just met this guy. I mean, just from a person-to-person encounter, I was like, we just have to release this. I don't care if we do anything else. And I told the people on the phone that I was working with at the time, I was like, I don't care if anything else happens. This has to get out. And I in about maybe 3 hours, it was done. We had it done.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. So Well, man, it was inspiring. It was inspiring, TJ. And that's the thing. When you work with people and when you meet people like you who embody something that's so unique that it has to be the Holy Spirit, you know, there's just an inspiration there that you just know to keep that from folks would be wrong, first of all. And so I sat down at a kitchen table, man, 3 hours, just grinded, just worked. And at the end, there's this video, and I sent it to our friend, Mark T. Jackson. And I was like, hey, here's this video. I don't care if nothing else happens, just get this out there. And that was 17 million views later, or earlier.
I don't wanna sing the latest song. I don't wanna percolate the crowd. I just wanna make you smile. I don't care who thinks I'm right or wrong. I don't care who tries to calm me down. I just wanna praise you now. You cover me in the midst of it all. You love me. You gave me another chance. You saw my needs when others saw my faults. You forgave me.
I just want you to talk about how God has moved in your life and your journey, man, and how has God surprised you in all of this?
One thing I can say is, and I say this to a lot of like people who want to be artists. I wasn't an artist at the time. I was not an aspiring, writer or gospel singer or anything like that. I was literally caught serving. And we weren't, it wasn't like a paid gig and what people don't know is, I literally just told one of my friends the other day, what people don't know is, I wasn't an artist that night either. Like I wasn't like, they didn't fly me in or call me in. I sang tenor the whole night. I was a part of the praise team. And that was just one of the songs that like, I just kind of led that night. But, I wasn't like Tanya Baker. They flew her in, brought her in, or Isaiah Templeton or Marcus Cole. Like they were artists that night. But me, I was a part of the team and I just kind of led the moment with my team. And I sang tenor for everybody else. And I was just kind of caught serving, and it literally just kind of like flipped my life upside down. People started calling me an artist. People started calling me a recording artist. People started like, I've never asked to be on a stage. I've never asked to, hey, can I be at this engagement? And even like still today, like somebody posted on their story today, that song years later, so it's kind of, and just honestly speaking, like even in my laziness, just if I can be transparent, in my laziness, in my procrastination, in, the season where I compared myself to everybody, or I just had like these mad insecurities and I wasn't producing anything, that song, it covered me and carried me, like it carried my career. That song, Free Indeed, I hadn't put out music in a long time and still getting calls because of, and it blew my mind like really, really quickly about how songs can reach. Like I literally only sang that one time, one night. It was one moment, it was one yes. And years later, that one yes is still affecting my life beautifully.
You get the glory, you get the praise, you take the honor. I just want to say thank you. You get the glory, you get the praise, take all of the honor. I want to say thank you. You get the glory. You get all of the praise, God.
literally completely flipped my life upside down. That one night. Yeah, that one, yes.
I love that, TJ. I like how you say, and I like this idea too, that you were caught serving. And I think that idea, man, may we all carry that within us. I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life. God, if you catch me doing anything, just catch me serving. Wow. So, catch me up a little bit in terms of, I know you moved to Atlanta, you had to stay in Dallas, but also, you know what's wild? I mean, every once in a while, I think you did your album in like 2016. I think we made the videos around 2016, 2017 for Free Indeed, that sort of thing. And then ever since 2012, man, I would just see you incrementally here and there. I'm like, oh, and it stopped surprising me after a minute. It was just like, oh yeah, TJ's on TBN. He's with Ty Tribbett, like all these things. I'm just like, it ended up becoming a moment where I would just say, yeah, of course.
My friend Tim Reddick. Before we start this song, can you please just raise up a worship in the room? Not just because I've asked, but God, if God has been anything to you, not just everything, but anything to you, can you raise up a sound of worship in this place? Whoa. You've been everything. Everything to me.
Everything to me.
Everything, Lord.
Everything.
You're everything to me.
Everything to me.
Everything, Lord. Everything to me, Lord.
Everything to me.
Everything, yeah. I can't hear y'all. You're everything to me.
Everything to me.
Life and breath.
Life and breath.
Oh, Lord. Everything to me. Oh.
Everything to me.
You're my peace. You are.
You're my peace.
Oh, Lord. Everything to me. Oh. You are joy in sorrow. How many believe it tonight? Everything to me. Hope for tomorrow. One, Lord, lift your voice in this place. Let's call him Master. Yeah, you're my Savior.
What has God done, and what are some of your favorite moments or memories or even just realities that you've experienced that God's allowed you to experience? Where has God surprised you in all of that?
My favorite moments, have been, honestly, and this is not like me giving a deep answer, I promise. My favorite moments are moments that people haven't seen. Those have been my favorite moments. Those moments of like real encounter, even like in all honesty, even moments of like correction, like these divine moments and conversations of enlightenment about what I do. Because, of course, growing up, I was young, I'm, steady learning, steady growing every day. So those moments where I learned something new about God's presence, those moments where God revealed something new about me that I didn't know, as far as like what I carry and what I'm supposed to do with it. Even I'm still amazed at like, the reach that God has given my gift. Currently, one of my favorite things about this current season, I can say, is reshaping how we do worship in church, and I'm guilty of it for sure, being so I'll say performance driven, but not even performance, even in a more innocent sense, more ministerial rather than worship. Stephanie Gretzinger, she said worship was never meant to be ministered. So even while, and so like as a worship leader, or even as an artist, or who's made worship leading their artistry, like you have to have that balance. I do believe that, you know, you're called to the forefront and you're on the platform for a reason. So there is a ministry aspect to what you do, but you cannot confuse the ministry with worship. It is two different things. So there are moments where, you know, like you encourage them and you kind of teach them in a sense how to worship. And then depending on, like, you know, what you carry, you bring something maybe new or fresh to the table that they may not be ready for, or that house may not be used to. So you are an example of what worship can look like. But then, you know, of course, you have to direct the worship to him. And then one of my other favorite moments, I'm off topic now, but one of my other favorite moments is when I learned along this journey, okay, back on topic, along the journey, when I learned how to get out of God's way. Those like learning moments in his presence, like those moments where you push and you plow and you give all you have and you dump, like just tearing the room up. And then those other moments where it's just really sweet and serene and peaceful and, you know, just solemn, and you don't have to say much, you don't have to sing much anymore. And then sometimes it's so solemn when God is like moving and working and the worship is carrying itself and you don't have to facilitate it anymore. And you can get out of the way, like learning how to be an effective worship leader, like the journey, like, you know, just fresh revelation as I go. I feel like that's been the dopest.
I have a couple questions related to the way you create, the way you make space for God, especially. I remember one time we were on FaceTime. I don't know if it was with Mark or just for a different thing, but you were in your room and something caught my attention, and that is you just had a pad playing. Just a pad playing. Like, no specific outcome, right? Like you weren't doing this for somebody other than God. It was just, you were making space for that in that moment. But I've noticed that the way you do it is so unique, where you're really not in a hurry. And I hope I described that right. Like, you're not in a hurry. Going back to what you said, you just make room for God, and God makes room for us. And can you talk about that? How you use sound and patience? I would describe it like that. You use sound and patience together to allow something to happen. Am I wrong, or help me?
You're stirring me a little bit talking about it. So I'm just kind of talking from my heart. I believe that along this journey, I have fell in love with the feeling of his presence. Like, I just feel like it's so dope that what we're going to feel in heaven, like he gives us that here if you allow yourself. You can be on the go so much, or you can, like, you know, be so busy, or even songs can be just, you know, the lyrics can be distracting. But there are moments where you can just stop and enjoy him. And I'm trying not to cry. And I want people to feel that, you know, when I minister, like not just songs.
You are forever worth. Forever deserve.
There are these moments where, like, you can just stop a room with that sound, and like You don't have to be a CEO. You don't have to be a principal. You don't have to be a mom. You don't have to be in charge of anything. You can just be a son and a daughter or whoever and just like have this encounter, you know?
I believe there is an exchange the Lord wants to happen in your praise.
So if I can encourage anybody, I would encourage you to take this time. You still have time. It's not too late to not do anything and just sit and enjoy him. William McDowell said that it's not our job as worship leaders to lead people into the presence of God. That's not our job. First of all, he's omnipresent. And wherever we are, he got there. He was there before we got there. Our job is to create an awareness of his nearness. And I believe like that's all you have to do is just be aware of how near he is. You can be in the car and do it. You know, you don't have to just stop and get on your knees and say, Our Father. You can literally just stop, posture your heart to be aware.
Exchange. It's happening right now. There is an exchange. He says, give me your worship, I'll give you your peace now. Give me your worship, I'll give you your joy.
That's it. So we're going to finish with this thing called, I call it batter's box. Quick questions, quick answers. So I'll start with this one because I find that people who are in the church world can speak to this. Just a quick answer though. What's your biggest pet peeve or most common mistake you see, and almost in a lighthearted way, most common mistake you see church musicians make or church vocalists, but what's your biggest pet peeve where you hear it, you're just like, oh no.
Vocalists doing too much. Musicians not watching, not being as invested as the person in front singing is. Biggest pet peeve.
And second question, what's the greatest joy about what you do?
Getting people to feel what I feel at home. Yes.
Okay, so you're stranded on a deserted island and you can only have 3 things with you. This is straight out of like an icebreaker book. You're stranded on a deserted island. You can only have 3 things with you. What are the 3 things that Timothy Reddick takes with him?
Pen, paper, Bible.
How do you want people to think about you, man? In terms of when they think about Timothy Reddick, what do you want them to, how do you want to be seen?
I want to be seen as me. Like all of me. So not just Timothy Reddick, not just like this worshiper, but like also like the quirky, weird, extremely affectionate, dumb, forgetful.
Genius that you are. I'll throw that in there too, man. TJ, I really appreciate your time here today, man. You spoke. Listen, the wisdom you've shared, the insight. I like looking into the minds of creative geniuses, and that's you, man. And it's because of how God made you and who He made you to be, but also because of how you've responded and partnered with God. I think that's one of the greatest things I respect about you is your response to God and how you've made yourself available. So blessings to you, man. We love you.
I love you too.
All of our friends that are here in Ohio, we send our love to you, man. And
I love you guys.
Love you too, man. Hope to see you in person when this is all done, man. When we're able to be together again.
What city are you in? Are you in
Youngstown.
In Youngstown. Okay, cool.
Youngstown, Ohio. But thank you so much, TJ. You are beyond a blessing, man. TJ, thank you so much for being on CASA today. Thank you for joining us. On behalf of all the folks at the Sacred Commons, we're so grateful that you would share your time and your insight and your wisdom and your story. I know one thing, and I hope those of you who watch the interview can tell this. I know you can. It all comes from a real place with TJ. He is an authentic human being, and everything that we see him do, whether that would be on, the internet or on TV, or even in the context of his local church that he's ministering in Atlanta, no matter what he does, it's all real. It's genuine. It comes from a true place, a place that's deeply formed within him by God's grace. And so it's an honor that we would be able to spend time with TJ this week. And TJ, we just want to say thank you. To those of you watching at home, thank you for tuning in. We make this for you. We hope that in the midst of all the crazy things going on, that something like CASA can just bring some light and love and joy into your world. To the Sacred Commons folks, thank you so much for being our patrons. Thank you so much for making this possible. Everything we do is done because of the partnership that we have with you all. We love you all. We're so thankful for you. So thank you to the Sacred Commons folks. Finally, for everyone watching, as we weather this storm together, as we make our way through this pandemic, pray that God's peace would be with you, and that the blessing of God, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit would be with you now and forever. Peace.